Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the FearFans podcast. Here, I'm your host Don Elmy, and here with me is my co-host Nick Millet. And tonight we are going over one of my all-time favorite horror films, one of the best slasher films. This is one of the biggest,
immortal. It's one of the, as I've heard from film, it's the immortal classic.
the immortal classic that is Halloween. And so Halloween was released in 1978, written and directed by John Carpenter. And wow, it's just how'd you like Hocus Pocus 2? Oh yeah, I've yet to see Hocus Pocus 2. Mr. Nice Guy. I've had a bit on my plate lately, but tonight I'm planning on watching it after I'm done with this podcast.
What? I thought we were gonna get together and watch it. Like you showed me the first one.
Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. Next time. Next time I'm over at your place. Yeah, we'll definitely do. Some of us will get together. We'll watch it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because let's experience the nostalgic tone together since we grew up that same era.
Yes. Anyway, so Halloween has it's really it's really left its mark in the history of horror, and this is also the one film that sparked the big slasher craze of the 80s.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, absolutely. And I mean, truly, yes, there were a number of other, slasher related films that did come out throughout the 70s that did have some inspiration for the slasher craze of the 80s. But Halloween was really the one that started it all.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. And I'm not sure if this is true or not, but
Jeremy?
Yeah, but I heard that the director of Black Christmas, Bob Hope, I believe his name is.
Yes.
Yeah, and I heard that. I'm not sure if this is true or not. That John Carpenter originally wanted to make this like somewhat of a sequel to Black Christmas. Like instead of
that's new for me. I didn't know anything about that. All I know is for like a film like Black Christmas, that was considered one of the first horror films to combine the slasher genre and murder mystery genre together. So it could have been kind of coincidental that, it could have been somewhat of a sequel because it is, truly, it's set in, on a holiday. And, even part of Black Christmas had a little bit of a similar plot line to it because that too had, an unknown killer, if you will. And not to mention too, I mean, but either way, when Halloween first started, it started off originally as not even a real Halloween film to begin with.
Yeah, that's true. And just thinking about Black Christmas makes me feels weird than knowing that it was made by the same guy that directed Christmas Story, one of the most beloved holiday films of all time.
Almost 10 years later. It's just kind of weird. It's like he makes this incredibly dark, like slasher murder mystery film that occurs on the holidays, and then right after that he makes one of this great Christmas film 10 years later. And yes, Jeremy, I'm glad I was going to bring that up. I didn't forget. I wanted to hold off on that, but yeah, when they first started making Halloween, originally it was just going to be called The Babysitter Murders.
That is true. Yeah, The Babysitter Murders, but eventually they realized that Babysitter Murders wouldn't have that much of a good ring to it. I mean, at least that's what John Carpenter has said.
Well, not to mention, a year later, 1979, saw the release of a similar film that kind of had more to that tone, if you will, and that was the film When a Stranger Calls, which really, if you look at both films very carefully, they are what's kind of similar about the two films is it literally revolves around the babysitter urban legend.
Oh yeah.
With someone, a couple of kids are left by themselves along with a babysitter, and they're being stalked by an unknown killer, whether it's through outside the house or on the telephone. The two films have some similarities to each other if you look at both of them very carefully.
Yeah, that is true. And wow, Stranger Calls, that's like inspired by that urban legend, the calls coming from inside the house.
That's where the babysitter legend, originated from. And believe it or not, that even went as far as to being one of the stories featuring Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. The first story says just simply called The Babysitter, and they even make a remark about the movie in the acknowledgement. So I don't know what it is. It just seemed like late 70s, not only just Halloween, but the late 70s, early 80s seemed to have that. The Babysitter Legend was just so popular. So it's same with Black Christmas. It's the same thing with that film. That too originated from it. So late 70s, early 80s was a big time for the Babysitter Legend.
Oh yeah, it was big time for that. Big time for horror fans. It was, I mean, subsequent to this film, we've had all kinds of franchises throughout the 80s. Yeah, the Friday the 13th franchise, Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, Sleepaway Camp,
Yeah,
Prom Night. Yes, all those films.
Slumber Party Massacre.
Yep, all those films would not be around if not for this iconic masterpiece. And this, I believe, is this is actually my fourth favorite horror film overall. So.
It's just something that you just gotta love because it's just so well done. And you know what, Jeremy just put this down here. The reason it was called Halloween is because they realized that there had never been a movie that had a Halloween theme around it. That's very true.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's like a horror film that takes place on Halloween. I'm surprised they didn't do that sooner than 1978.
Right. Yeah. In terms of franchise, this is Jeremy's favorite.
Oh yeah, as far as the franchise goes, it did have a few good films after this one. I don't consider like all the sequels to be terrible, but it did have some bad ones. The sixth one being the worst.
Oh yeah, even though that was Donald Pleasance's final appearance, because that was about a year or two later afterwards, that's when he passed away, which they could have done it a lot better. I mean, even though he's in it, it still was pretty bad. Probably his scenes were probably the only good parts out of the entire film.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Sam Lewis is probably like the biggest.
What's up, Brad?
Hey, Brad. It's like one of the biggest characters that Donald Pleasance is known for, and I'm thinking Halloween 6, like this is the film that he goes out on. I'm like, man.
I was expecting something better when I found out that it was his last movie that he ever did. I just wish they could have done a lot better with it. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was still good in it, but the rest of the film, I was just rather unsatisfied.
Yeah, I mean, this film did have someone who really made it big in the years following. Paul Rudd, who was about in his 20s at the time, he played Tommy, who was one of the kids that Jamie Lee Curtis's character Laurie Strode was babysitting for. So, yeah, this film featured a very young Paul Rudd, and that's it. That's the only positive thing I have to say about that film.
Right. Jeremy just wrote, most people consider Resurrection to be the absolute worst, but I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty bad, but I still think 6 is even worse than that.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that.
Oh yeah, like the writing, like 5 and 6, the writing got really sloppy, and then it was just all downhill after Halloween 4.
Right.
Yeah, but so the original film takes place in a fictional town, Haddonfield, Illinois, which it was actually filmed in California. I believe the Myers house is in I think somewhere in Pasadena, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so. And the funny thing is that the name of Haddonfield itself, although there is, the film takes place in our state, obviously, yeah, there's no Haddonfield, Illinois, but I heard where they got the town name from actually did come from a real town that was called Haddonfield, but it was the real Haddonfield is actually located in the state of New Jersey.
Oh, yeah. That sounds about right.
Right.
But, a lot of people really rag on 3 as a standalone, but it's a great film. Yeah. Well, Jeremy, here's the thing. Their intention with Halloween 3, the reason why because everybody's biggest complaint about that one is, where's Michael Myers? Why did they change everything? Well, originally John Carpenter wanted to create like an anthology with the Halloween franchise, like just focus on a story about masks that kill children, and then move on to a different story. But it just didn't work out because everybody wanted to see more of Michael Myers. So starting with Halloween 4, the return of Michael Myers, they decided to give audiences that.
Well, not to mention too, I mean, if you look at the film carefully, I mean, let's put it this way. Halloween 2 that came out a few years later, yes, that was originally meant to be the last Halloween film to feature Michael Myers. That was the one that we were supposed to be seeing his official demise, as well as, Dr. Loomis's Loomis's sacrifice. And when you look at Halloween 3, obviously the theme is different. I mean, it's not even just the masks that are the primary focus. The film basically has a kind of mad scientist witchcraft type film. I mean, in fact, if you look at the villain, Connell Cochran, you basically have this guy who is basically the horror movie version of a James Bond villain, trying to take over the world. And he's using that to kill masks. I mean, using these masks to kill children all over the world. But they said that if Halloween 3 had been successful, because again, it was focusing on that mad scientist witchcraft kind of theme, they said what would eventually become Halloween 4, had the third one been successful, their next subject for the fourth one probably would have actually been a ghost story. So they were gonna play around different subjects, and the only connection between all of them was that it would all take place on Halloween. So that was the only part of the connection originally. So it would have been interesting to see what else they would have had in mind had Halloween 3 been successful.
Oh, and Nick, do you still have those 3 masks from Halloween 3?
I'll be right back.
Yeah. Show them the masks.
You should have surprised. You should have said, "Do you have those masks?" Either way.
Yeah. Oh man, this is gonna be good.
All right.
There we go.
Hang on a second. Bear with me. Yeah, you can take over the comments for me while I'm doing this.
Reminds me of when they based off an X-Files off of the real town of Halloween. Oh. Okay, so yeah, then you got the jack-o'-lantern, and there was the skull and the skeleton, and then the witch.
It's actually quite comfortable, believe it or not.
Yeah, just make sure you don't watch any commercials while wearing it.
There was actually one person that did wearing the mask, and he's like sitting there like excited, and as the magic pumpkin is flashing, he's pressing on like the mask, like what why isn't this thing working? Where's all the bugs where's all the bugs and snakes that were supposed to come out? All right, hang on, here's the second one.
Something dropped. There we go.
Well, let me see what Jeremy just said.
Yep, read it.
Silver shamrock. And that's the thing too. Also, that's the other thing too about these masks is that they actually do have the silver shamrock logo attached to them.
Nice.
And they're actually like completely glued, so like you cannot take them off for any reason. They're permanently there. And Nick, finally, I got mask number 3.
Hey Nick, look at this comment.
Oh God, no. What about Jaws the Revenge Mask?
Go ahead and go there.
Oh God. That would be impossible to make, even if that was the case. All right.
Oh, there's the which one. Nice. That's awesome.
So there you have it. So nothing like a good season of the witch.
Nice. Hey, Nate, that's a good.
That's a good look for me. Oh,
nice.
Brad said he went to Spirit Halloween. So it was disappointing how much there he picked up a bag. Oh God, no bugs. All right.
Yep.
Let's see. Let's see what Brad's. All those masks have nothing on them. Oh. You remember all the times he always complains about his ex-wife.
Oh man.
He talks about his ex-wife all the time. Sorry, I just it's funny whenever he brings it up.
So Nick, the original I did get to see the
giant shorty with boxing gloves they have.
Yeah, they're starting to like popularize the Killer Clowns from Outer Space, all that merchandise.
That's right.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started, Jeremy.
And Nick, one of the things I love about Halloween is like the the beginning, that opening scene, it doesn't hold back. It just gives you absolutely suspenseful, menacing opening scene. I mean, it's one of my favorite opening scenes out of any horror film. Where it shows completely a total point of view of 6-year-old Michael Myers wearing his clown outfit and comes across his older sister, 17-year-old Judith Myers, and her boyfriend. And it's like seeing them from outside. They don't even know he's there. And then he waits until the boyfriend leaves. Then he puts on a clown. Well, first he goes to the kitchen, pulls out a chef knife, goes upstairs, puts on the clown mask, and just brutally stabs Judith to death. Like all of that, all of that in a POV shot, and
with
then
the eye holes.
Yeah, through eye holes. Then he just walks outside, and his parents arrive. They take off the mask, and you're shocked when you see it's just a kid who committed this horrific crime.
You first think, there's actually been some people I've spoken to who originally thought that, at first maybe it was just overall just a prank because, it's done by a kid, as, brothers may do, prank their sisters. But once you start realizing, this, it's like sometimes you think that first, but then all of a sudden when you realize the serious tone and intense tone to it, you think, okay, wait a second, this was not a prank that we watched. This was some full-blown murder that he just committed. So
yeah, man.
And Jeremy just said Halloween was groundbreaking, very cerebral, 1% blood. The suspense just builds and builds and builds despite a couple of continuity errors. They made the perfect horror film. Continuity, thank you. I'm terrible with words sometimes, you know that.
I'm the same way, man. Don't worry. And what I love about that is also how clever they executed that scene. Because I actually learned very recently that the stabbing sound effects that you hear as he's using that knife to stab Judith, the stabbing sound effects you hear is a sound that they took from somebody stabbing a watermelon.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I've heard about that. I remember learning that years ago. Like, seriously, stabbing a watermelon?
Yeah,
I'm terrible at it.
Well, John Carpenter and his guys, they always were very clever with sounds and with music, and I should also mention that John Carpenter did all the music for this film, the theme song, the suspenseful moments, everything. And it's also worth noting that that he grew up in the town of Bowling Green, Kentucky, and his father was the head of the music department at Western Kentucky University. So yeah, the music was not only film, but also music was part of his life growing up. And I should mention that I actually am a graduate of Western Kentucky University. So it was just an amazing experience being there. Same university that John Carpenter went to. And also, I should mention the town of Bowling Green. When you look at the films at Halloween 1 and 2 primarily, when they show like locations and talking like these street names, they are all like based on actual street names and locations around Bowling Green. Smith's Grove Sanitarium in the film where Michael spent 15 years after murdering Judith. Smith's Grove is actually a small town outside of Bowling Green. And
really? Okay, yeah. Actually, no, what am I saying? I knew that. Yep.
Yeah. What's another example? There was a mention in Halloween 2 where Sheriff Brackett talks on the radio to one of his deputies. The deputy says he was getting off of Scottsville Road, and I'm thinking, wait, Scottsville Road? That's where like all those restaurants are, like off my campus. That's where the Olive Garden and the IHOP is at, where I took my college girlfriend on dinner dates. So
really,
yeah. They also, and it's not just Halloween. In other films like The Fog, they mentioned Chestnut Street. They mentioned I was just like, wow, he's really.
That's weird that you mentioned about Chestnut Street, because that is another road I am familiar with. Not only with Halloween, but I've been to an actual road called Chestnut Street. But this was in the state of Ohio, though, and that was where, we encountered basically a house, though, that was said to be haunted by a very negative spirit. So just the fact you brought up Chestnut Street brings up to when Tom and I visited Ohio 2 years ago.
Oh, I see.
It's out in Kent, Ohio, in case you wonder where exactly. Yes, the score is just a masterpiece.
Oh yeah, I mean that score. Hang on.
Actually, I was going to share the screen. Do you want me to share it for you?
Oh, the screen.
I can share yeah. Only 18 days till Unity. Yeah, hold on one second. Let me share the. Oh, this is unusual. This is odd. They used to say share, but now it says presents. So you tell me if you see anything with what I'm about to do.
Okay, let's see.
And actually, I wanted to show this in particular. Hang on. Can you see? All
Yes.
right. Do you see what I'm going to show?
Yep. Let's see.
All right. I'll just play like a quick, 15 seconds of it.
Okay. I think we should be careful with that.
I know that's why I was only going to go for just a few seconds. So that's why I'm saying like 10, 15 seconds of it. That would be enough because these damn copyright issues. If only we didn't have it, if only we didn't have them, we would have a lot more freedom with this. And cue the copyright things.
Don't jinx us, Jeremy.
Yeah, they're just jinxing us.
How wasn't it even nominated for Best Original Score at the Academy Awards? Just tragic. Yeah,
you got that, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, come on. It's such a legendary piece, and it didn't get nominated. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure if Academy Awards, if they focused that much on independent films back then, because this is technically independent. It wasn't. Yeah, and I should mention this film was actually on a budget of just over $300,000. So, yeah, this is one of those horror films that had worked with just a small amount of money and created something big and beautiful.
It's very it's almost similar in a way that just 10 years earlier was like the same thing with George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead. It was really both films really were both made with not that much money, and they were shot at a relatively low budget. They didn't need this huge cast and crew to make this film.
Yeah, and same thing with the movie Paranormal Activity. It had a small budget, and it didn't even have $100,000. It only had it had a fraction of that, and it still not only made a big film, but also a big franchise for the years that followed.
Not to mention also even the Blair Witch Project.
Oh yeah, there's another one. Yeah, it's just a lesson that you don't need to have a multi-million-dollar budget to make something good. Oh yeah, $15,000 for Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, you got it, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought you were gonna pick it up or something.
Oh, I just dropped my phone.
Oh, it looked like you were about to grab a DVD or something. That just looked like from my point of view.
Oh, I was about to say I was reaching down here, not back there.
Yeah. No, usually every time when you reach something, it's usually a movie. So that's why I thought, oh, you got it too. So
I do have it. It's in here.
Oh, I figured.
Yeah. The first three films, the rest of them are meh.
Yeah. Sorry. Blair Witch, from what I see, was 200 to 500,000. Okay, so more than that, but still, that's relatively a little bit cheaper than expected.
Oh yeah, definitely. And what else was there? So this film served as the feature film debut for Jamie Lee Curtis, who out of all the teenage characters, she's the only actress who was actually a teenager at the time.
Right.
And also the reason why John Carpenter wanted to cast Jamie Lee Curtis in particular is to pay an homage, to do the same kind of thing that Alfred Hitchcock did for Psycho to make. When Alfred Hitchcock made Psycho, he boosted Janet Leigh's career, and so
that's right.
And so John Carpenter wanted to do the same thing for her daughter.
I know this usually this is more better off for the fathers, but I guess you can kind of say it was really that kind of mother like daughter.
Yes. And also they starred it together, even though Janet Leigh was only a brief appearance, in Halloween H2O, which was that sequel that overlooked all the sequels after Halloween 2. It was a whole new timeline.
Yep. It was just that's something we've already seen now, especially with the newer Halloween movies. Those now are ignoring absolutely everything in between and just primarily focusing on just the original.
Yeah, they could have just left Halloween 2 in the timeline, and then Halloween
Halloween
2
2,
was all right.
Halloween 2 they could have left
Yeah.
with. Because I always watch the original one along with the second one because that really does literally pick up from where the first one left off. Actually, Jamie wasn't John's first choice. If I remember, I think Deborah was the one who talked him into casting her. Could be wrong, though.
Let's see. And
Jeremy said he also watched Paranormal Activity Next of Kin. He actually enjoyed that one. Did you see that one?
Not yet. I kind of gave up on Paranormal Activity movies after the previous one. What was it? Ghost Dimension?
The marked ones.
The marked ones. There was one after that, I think. The Ghost Dimension, I think it was called.
Ghost Dimension, yeah. Which I do have a poster of. I mean, don't get me wrong, the poster is cool, but the movie's not that great.
Yeah, I pretty much gave up on Paranormal Activity after that one, like I said. But
yeah.
So Jamie Lee Curtis feature film debut as Laurie Strode, and I gotta say, like right off the bat, like when you first see her on screen, you should, like immediately you just like that character, you know, like she's probably like the first like actress to start the whole final girl trope in horror films.
That's right.
Because after that, they followed that exact same. With Friday the 13th, it was a final girl, Alice. Nightmare on Elm Street, the final girl was Nancy. And Scream. Final girl was Sydney.
And then there were two other slasher films that came out in the 80s, both of which, because Jamie Lee Curtis's character was so popular that it eventually it got the attention of other would-be slasher films where they really wanted her to be in those films. So additionally, you also had her starring as the final girl in two additional films, Prom Night and Terror Train.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So it's not only that she inspired that, in other films, but even she got so popular that other slasher films just wanted her as similar characters. Another film I can think of that has a final girl, The House on Sorority Row.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, but somewhat. Even My Buddy Valentine, even though the guy is kind of fighting along with her, still it has that element to it.
Yeah.
The Prowler. I mean, I could go on with almost all this, any 80s slasher film that you could think of. And that all came from that original film.
Yes. Oh yeah, the list goes on and on. And from that movie, from Halloween, right from that movie forward, that just became a staple in the slasher genre. Is the final girl.
If you kind of think about it too, if you compare Jamie Lee Curtis's character in Halloween and also all these other slasher films that followed that had that final girl character, I just thought of one more because I got to put this out. Slumber Party Massacre is yet another one because that primarily featured a group of girls and there was one left standing. So what I was going to say though was if you look at Halloween carefully and all these other slasher films that follow, you would see something almost identical in each film. And you would know exactly who. You kind of already know exactly who will survive at the end and confront and fight the killer. If it's the girl that takes life seriously, doesn't take part in what her other friends are doing, like the drugs, the drinking, the sex, the partying, is the one who's more serious, is the one who's going to eventually fight off the killer, the one who's going to survive. All her other friends might not, but she will. And usually that's where we get the final girl, and it's up to her then to basically face the killer and kind of avenge her friends in a way.
Yeah, because for the most part, a lot of the people that do get killed in these slasher films, like the teens partying or whatnot, they just let their guard down and become easy targets.
Well, and if you look at it too, because Halloween, yes, I mean, it wasn't bloody, it wasn't gory, but the films that followed afterwards were. I recently found out, funny enough, usually a lot of the guys usually get killed on camera. Girls do get killed too, but very, very few are killed on camera. The really ghastly, very gory scenes are usually the guys. They suffer a more worse fate than the girls do. Usually, once in a while, you'll see it with the girls, but usually it's the guys that do, and that just became a tradition in the slasher films.
Oh yeah, I mean Michael, he gets more. I feel like Michael. I just noticed that he gets more and more brutal with killing as the series goes on, especially now. Like if you've seen how,
Right.
like with Halloween Kills, oh man, he just really, wow, he just really steps it up.
Becomes more aggressive, in other words.
Yeah, I mean he started off that film by killing an entire a firefighter squad just for doing their job, burning down the house that he was in, or like
Yep.
well not burning, not like putting out the fire, putting out the house that he was burning inside of. I mean, he's brutal with it. He uses tools. He uses it's
Anything that you could think of, he'll use. It's not always just his beloved butcher knife.
oh yeah, I mean, even though that's what he's primarily known for, is like
no, there's times that he's used other tactics when he has to, especially the second film. He didn't really even have his butcher knife. He used like a small knife or something to like stab people with because he no longer had his butcher knife. So that was the first film where he didn't rely on that knife.
yeah, Halloween 2, like he was using a scalpel
Like a scalpel or something, which I'm surprised. I could see how it could be used as a weapon, although it's a little bit hard to believe that he was actually able to kill people because it's much smaller. And
well, that's the thing. I don't think they have that many butcher knives in a hospital.
Yeah, exactly.
Where the film took place in.
Right. Okay. See, Roger Ebert ranked Halloween in the top 10 on 1978 movies. Saying a lot.
Yeah.
And yes, Michael even got the children. That's right. He also used syringes.
Yep.
There was also at least like one or two occasions he even used his own bare hands to like crush people's skulls.
Yeah, used a hammer on a security guard's head.
He used if you remember one of the others, he used a rake on someone's forehead, and then there was one where he used the fourth one. I remember when he's in the ambulance, he also like used like his own thumb to like literally ram his thumb into the guy's forehead.
Man.
And finally, one other one where same one with the fourth one where he threw that construction worker onto the electrical power plant, electrified. Yep. So he didn't always use his knife. He used even his own hands to kill people.
Yeah, he electrocuted that guy and at that powerhouse, and also it caused a total blackout on the town, making it easier for him to hide in the darkness.
Just trying to think. Well, not necessarily a kill scene, but there was also that scene too where, again, the fourth one, where Michael Myers appears in front of Loomis. He like in the school, he grabs him and then just like throws him in the hopes that he's killing him, although he just knocked. And it was that scene where his mask had yellow blonde hair instead of his typical dark brown, which I heard that was said to be accidental.
Yeah, like I noticed that when as a kid when I watched Halloween 4 on TV, I was just like, why does his mask look different?
Like everywhere else it was the same, but that one scene, it had yellow hair to it. I didn't really understand that.
Yeah, maybe it was lighting or something. I mean, that was my guess.
That's actually what I'm looking up right now.
That was my guess back then.
It was, let's see. Give me 1 second here. I'm just scrolling through. Where the? Oh, okay. So as it says, as Michael Myers threw Dr. Loomis into a glass door, the mask had noticeable. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing too. Not just blonde hair. It also even had pinkish skin. It even was a little bit pinkish. Yeah, the mistake has resulted in much. Okay. Here we go. Here's what I'm looking for. According to the cast and crew and Back to the Basics, the making of Halloween, the original Michael Myers mask props from Halloween 1 and 2 were long gone. When the production team ordered new masks from the Captain Kirk molding, they arrived with pink skin and light-colored hair. Makeup technician Ken Horn recalled repainting some of the masks and adding dark streaks in the hair, which created the bumpy texture. The cast noted the ongoing upheaval regarding the mask issues, causing a few workarounds. Still, one of the blonde-haired masks made its way into the final cut. The only other thing it says here about it is in the documentary, little explained why the mistake with Michael Myers' mask was left in the school scene. he thought the error stemmed from a tired. Oh, okay. He thought the error stemmed from a tired crew member rushing to the prop area before grabbing one of the incorrect masks. Though nobody on set caught the error, it was acknowledged in the later stages of production. Granted, Little confirmed the mistake was left in the movie, stating that it would have been fixed if his team had more time and money. By keeping the blonde-haired Michael Myers in Halloween 4, the folklore involving the legendary mask is held on to a humorous misstep. So that's why that was left in. They couldn't reshoot it, and it was an accidental thing that one of the crew members grabbed the wrong masks and shot it with it. It was supposed to be the one with the right one, but you know how sometimes film productions go. They just didn't have enough time to really run back and grab it. So the right one. So they ended up shooting it without even noticing until it was they looked back onto the footage.
Oh, yeah, that's unfortunate. And so let's go to the Halloween.
That's right, Jeremy.
Yeah, that's very true. And let's go back to let's go to the mask. So when they were looking for into masks in the first Halloween film, what Michael Myers should wear, they were trying to, they were looking at all kinds of things. Even at one point they were looking into having him wear a clown mask, but they thought, that wasn't going to be enough. So what they did was they created their own mask by taking a William Shatner mask, it was like a Captain Kirk mask from Star Trek.
Captain Kirk.
Yeah, Captain Kirk. Yeah, see, I don't even watch, and I never watched a single episode of Star Trek, and I still know that. I still know who he is.
It's funny too, because my dad and I sometimes will watch Star Trek on Meet TV, because how they show the original, how they show a lot of the older shows, usually from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and of course one of them is Star Trek. Mm-hmm. And you look at William Shatner, and you kind of look back and see Halloween. I don't know, it's kind of hard to kind of compare the two. It just doesn't look like it to me. You never watched a single episode of Star Trek?
Nope. Just couldn't get into it. I just can't do it. Star Trek and I just don't mix.
I just can't compare William Shatner's, when he was younger, obviously. I just cannot compare his face from that era with that mask. I just don't see the resemblance.
Yeah, that was their intention.
You poor sheltered little thing.
No, I don't.
Mr. Nice Guy hasn't seen it either.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't feel that bad about it. I mean, I know some people like it, but I just can't do it. I don't know why.
My dad and I, we watch it. Usually it will air.
Yeah,
it usually actually airs right after Svengoolie, believe me.
Oh yeah, but Nick, what you said about how it doesn't even resemble William Shatner, that was their intention. They wanted to alter it so it's like a completely new thing. They made the eye holes bigger. They dyed the hair to a darker brownish color, and of course spray painted the whole face white. And so to make it resemble what the metaphor of Michael Myers was, just this being that was completely devoid of all humanity, all emotion, all morals. It was just the personification of pure evil.
Right. It was as Sam Loomis says, he has these black eyes, just the blackish eyes, they were supposed to basically look just lifeless eyes, almost depraved of any type of human mentality, if you will. It was as I would describe, it's the way how they make their mask, but especially the eyes, they are like shards of night. They're just so featureless.
Yes. And Nick, you speak what?
Star Trek literally addressed every social issue that was happening in the 1960s and telling people to stop being stupid. That actually is true. That is. It was. I'll just give you a quick trivia fact about that, Don, since you haven't seen it. It was one of the first shows ever to have a major racially diverse cast, in the show. Before that, there weren't very many shows like that, but Star Trek was one of the first where you had people of different races in a television show.
Right. It was the first show to feature an interracial kiss. I know that.
That's right. The first show to have an interracial kiss. There will never be another mask that will send chills down people's spines simply by looking at it. He's talking about
Yes.
Michael
And
Myers' mask.
Nick, what? And I want to see what just came in the mail
What's that?
from Amazon.
Let me guess. I knew it. I knew it. You know what I should have done was I should have actually played the music once you put that on. Damn it. That would have made a lot more sense then. That's awesome, though. Seriously, that really is.
Yeah, got it just in time for that costume event that's going to be going on that I was a runner-up for on last year. So
what costume event? You didn't tell me this.
I went as Ghostface at one of my local at a local event where they had a costume contest, and I was one of the runner-ups.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people loved my Ghostface outfit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
well,
I did get a whole bunch of like one of the runner-up prizes is like a whole bunch of coupons. Mostly, it's like to some local businesses. Yeah, like there's one for a free pizza. There's one for I think one of them said like it was for like a nightclub, but yeah, like mostly I just focused on just the restaurant stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not to, yeah, I just showed that. It's kind of funny too you brought that up because, like, as everybody knows, I worked at Spirit Halloween for a couple of years, and when I was working there on October of 2018, I was expecting this obviously right from the start that I knew we were going to have a Michael Myers prop, at this. I mean which made so much sense because it was Halloween's 40th anniversary. So you can imagine, obviously, having a Michael Myers mask standing in front and constantly hearing the Halloween theme song almost every day working there. And usually, yes, you usually will have enough after hearing it repeatedly, but you just never get tired of that theme song. That was a rare exception.
I never get tired of hearing. I could hear that theme song all the time, all versions of it, because there's different variants of it throughout the series. Like they change the tone of it, the way it sounds. Like, yeah.
Well, not to mention, see, I like not only the original, I also like the second one too. I just like just the different tone to it. There's even some people who say they like the second theme better than the original, even though I disagree. I like both versions equally.
Oh yeah.
See, I remember seeing these videos wearing a guy wearing a Michael Myers mask would drive up next to people and just stare at them. Some of the reactions were just priceless. Don, I think I know some of those videos that well, not exactly those kind of videos, but you sent me stuff similar to that.
Yeah. Here, why don't I just play one of those real quick?
That shouldn't be a copyright issue. You should be able to play it.
Okay, excellent.
Because it's not a movie.
Yeah, where do I go for this?
You press well, you see, it used to say share. You got to press present.
Present. There's no present on here.
No, there should be on your side. There's mute, stop cam settings, and in the middle there's present.
Browser can't access your screen. Please do what?
Yeah.
It says it can't access my screen. Hang on.
Click on here. I'll walk you through it. So as usual. So did you click present screen?
Sure. No, there's no present screen. It's just there's just share. It says slides, extra camera, video file, or share screen.
Here, I'll show you how it's done. It's not too bad. I'll just give you it's really easy. So you press okay, hang on. Hang on. So you press present here, this button here.
I don't have that button here.
What do you have on your side?
Just share screen. That's it. Just share and then share screen.
That's unusual. It says present on my side. You want me? Tell you what. I have an idea.
Why don't I do this? I got it.
There you go. There you go. Now you got it.
Okay. Here, let me just go to. Let me go to YouTube. Let me just go into. Let's see.
I was going to say usually it's best to always have your link ready because that way we don't have this, triple effects.
Yes. Plays piano here. There's this one that I found where Michael Myers, where a guy dressed up as Michael Myers freaks people out playing a piano inside of an elevator. Hang on. Okay, hang on. I found it. Can you see it on here?
No, I just see us.
Okay.
You got it.
Here, I got to change the tab. Let's see. How do you change the tab on this thing?
You just have to don't click on any of those. Just click on the tab that you have open. The YouTube.
Okay. Yes, there it is.
YouTube link tab, and I should be able to see it then.
Okay, I have it. It's here.
Nothing yet. Did you click on window and then you clicked on the StreamYard itself then, or because that's something you got to also do too.
Okay, go to. Okay.
So click on share again,
Yeah.
or whatever button it was.
Chrome tab. Okay, here it is. Now can you see it?
Yep, there we go. There we go.
Here. I never showed this before. I don't think you've seen this.
You have shown me this, but this was awesome.
Okay.
Full screen.
Great video right now. This is awesome. And it's like this. Halloween, baby. You want a sandwich?
You want to start it?
For a YouTube video.
That's awesome. I love that.
Hey, if you want to look it up, it's like I do piano beatboxing is like what I do. So like
Yeah, this guy's awesome.
You know, I can't imagine though the guy who does that. It's like it's got to be hot sometimes wearing all that. You know, like especially when you're in an elevator.
No doubt. It's like how is he like allowed to do this too? Like imagine just going inside that place, going up to then like security's like, sir, what are you doing with all that? Oh, I just want to set up inside of an elevator. Me playing a piano dressed as Michael Myers, freaking everybody out.
I got a feeling he probably got like some type of permission to go in.
Oh, he'd have to. He'd definitely have to. But yeah, one thing I never really got in Halloween is like where it shows like in the beginning how like where they jump forward 15 years and it shows Dr. Loomis and also the what was it, Marion Chambers driving to pick up Michael, have him transported to a courtroom where so he can finally be sentenced for the murder of his sister. But then Michael takes the car and drives away. Who taught him to drive?
Yeah, that's what I wondered too. Like, how on earth was he even able to drive?
How would he be able to drive if all he had been doing for 15 years is just sitting in a room staring at a wall like they described? Like,
I really wish I had the answer for that. I've been wondering that for the longest time. It's like, how on earth was he able to do that when he's been institutionalized all these years?
Yeah, and therefore should not know how to drive.
Right.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I really don't. Video games.
I doubt that.
I doubt that. I mean, yeah, they were coming out, but they didn't have those kind of games.
Yeah, video games were a thing, but basically the main thing that you would find back in 1978 is probably Pong and Asteroids and
arcade games. That's all you had. I got a couple of those on my joysticks over there.
Yeah, I got I got a few classics like Tetris myself on my phone.
Tetris.
I play it every once in a while.
Every time I think of Tetris, I think of that funny Simpsons scene when Homer was doing Tetris. You remember that?
When he's loading up his car.
He's loading up.
Yep. And the only problem with it is he didn't leave any room for himself.
Well, who was gonna play Tetris and put him in the car? That's the real question. You can't just do it himself.
Yep. Yeah. If that ever happened in real life, like with someone, and if I was driving and they said, "Oh wait, there's no room for me," I'm just like, "No problem. Just grab on the roof and hang on tight."
That's you know what? If that actually existed, that would make life so much funner then. You know what? I actually did do something like that. I'm not even joking. Not in the car, but when I used to work at a warehouse where I had to put boxes and stuff like on a pallet or something, and I actually put the Tetris theme song on the pallet while I'm like running back and forth and actually even spinning the boxes. Go all Beverly Hillbillies on them. What?
Oh, like how they pack up their vehicle like that. Okay. You know what he's talking about. Yeah, but what I want to mention is one of my favorite things about that film is Donald Pleasance's performance as Dr. Sam Loomis, because they had quite a few people in mind to play the role of Dr. Loomis, such as the legendary actors who have been in all kinds of B horror films, Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee.
Right. Yeah. It's just I don't know what it is. He just seemed like he was just perfect for that role. And he just seemed to remind me of those characters in a way.
Yeah, he truly did. Yeah, because like it would have been interesting to see both those people, either one of those people, Peter Cushing, but and Christopher Lee, because Christopher Lee, one of my all-time favorite English actors, he's done so many amazing roles in his career. But and hold on, but apparently they turned it down, and like Jeremy says, he regretted not taking that role.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I wouldn't blame him for regretting. Like, who wouldn't want a role like that?
But after that, he's had so many great roles after that, like Saruman in the Lord of the Rings films, Count Dooku in Star Wars. Even before this film, he's had great roles, such as Lord Summersisle in Wicker Man and Scaramanga in The Man with the Golden Gun.
He was, and of course, even though he regretted being in Halloween, of course, understandably, he also continued acting in additional horror films, both for the United States and the UK, because he was also in a lot of the Hammer films too, alongside Peter Cushing.
Oh yeah, and so Donald Pleasance, yeah, he was a good fit for this role because he's proven at like that he's amazing with what he does. I mean, one of the other big roles that I know him from is when he played Blofeld in the James Bond film You Only Live Twice, where they first finally reveal the face of Blofeld, because it was always hidden in the previous Bond films. But this time he finally has a face, and this face was Donald Pleasance.
Yeah.
Yep, and had that eye scar and everything, which was also adapted into the parody Austin Powers with Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually remember
who was also played by the actor named Mike Myers.
That's right. Yeah. And to add to that too, as you know, Don, you and I also know Michael Myers ourselves from our area. Mike, well, he prefers himself just being called Mike, but he doesn't look anything like he's Mike Myers.
Yeah, his name is Michael Myers, but he was born like before the film was made. Like he didn't know. I don't believe any. No, they didn't name him after the character. So
it was just purely coincidental, as they always say. Like at the end of every film, any name, referring to a real life person is purely coincidental.
Oh yes, that's what they always say at the end in the credits.
But here's the thing: Christopher Lee was already near legendary status at that time already. Not taking the role did not hurt his career. That's true. But it still looked like it was still obviously a film that I think he would have still had fun with at least.
Mm-hmm. I think so. Yeah, this film has so many cast members that John Carpenter would end up working with later on down the road. Like 2 years later, there was the film The Fog, which starred Jamie Lee Curtis, but also Charles Cyphers, who also played Sheriff Brackett in Halloween 1 and 2. And also in the new Halloween, in Halloween Kills, he reprised his role after 40 years.
Right.
And, let's see who else. Nancy Loomis, who had played. Let's see. Annie. Yeah, Annie in the and let's see who else. There was. I think there was another person. I think
you want to look at this comment. What Brad just wrote.
With Michael Myers.
Look at that. We're not alone, Don. Someone else knows a Michael Myers.
Nice. Yes, and let's see. And The Fog also had Janet Leigh, Jamie Lee Curtis's mother.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, and also had Tom Atkins, who was the main character in Halloween 3.
That's absolutely true, and and he starred in a lot of horror films throughout the 70s and 80s too.
Yeah, Creepshow.
Yeah. He was also in I kind of lost my train of thought there. What else was he in? I seriously, I don't know why. I can't remember what else he was in. No, seriously, he was in a lot of horror films. It's like I can't remember. So I'm actually, well, of course,
Night of the Creeps.
Yep, Night of the Creeps, Maniac Cop, Two Evil Eyes, Escape from New York, My Bloody Valentine 3D, of course.
Yeah. Here, look what Brad said.
When he was hard, I was asked if he was going to stab the troubled customers.
Yeah, sure. He wanted to see if those shoplifters are going to get it.
Yeah, it's yeah. I probably would ask that same question too. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's had quite a career. He's got something else coming up actually soon in the future. Some movie called The Collected, but it doesn't. It just says TBA, so I don't know if it's going to be horror film or what. So
I see.
I don't know.
Oh wait, what? This is at the casino. Way worse than. Oh, so he goes. So he goes after cheating gamblers then, huh? Yeah. So
I guess so in a way.
I should mention before. I was going to say this. Despite having a low budget, they actually managed to get the right to use like one of the biggest rock songs at the time. Blue Oyster Cult's "Don't Fear the Reaper."
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I'm going to play a quick sample of that, right?
Yeah.
not too big, but just a sample. And it's funny if you think about, like with that song "Don't Fear the Reaper," which just came out 2 years earlier. It was so popular with that film, yet it's not even featured on the soundtrack.
Oh,
it's not. I'm not joking the least bit. You have everything else, and "Don't Fear the Reaper" got more popular because of that movie, yet it's not even on the soundtrack itself. As they always say, music from the motion picture, that song was not featured in it. I don't know if it was because Blue Oyster Cult did not allow it, or they forgot it, or what, but it's not featured on the soundtrack.
That's interesting. I didn't even know that. Huh.
Sure, bracket, families, children all lined up in rows up and down these streets. You're telling me they're lined up for us. You're telling me they're lined up for a slaughterhouse, Dr. Loomis. They could be.
Yeah, because he was talking about how it has some of his favorite dialogue.
Yeah.
And I should also bring up, speaking of like using other works, there was some ongoing scenes where when Laurie was babysitting Tommy and Lindsay, they were both watching this movie marathon, which featured movies like Forbidden Planets, that's a classic B movie, and also the original version of The Thing from 1951, The Thing from Another World, which was remade by John Carpenter just 4 years later.
That's right.
Thing, which is my third favorite horror film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even wrote a song based on Halloween. The Night He Came Home, wrote it over 10 years ago, remains one of my favorite lyrics I've ever written.
Uh-huh.
How about check that out?
Yeah, I'll love to see that. Oh, Nick, I should mention though, about The Thing. The 1951 version. My family does have a bit of a history with that film. My grandpa Chuck went to see it when he was like in his, I think it was like in his early 20s at the time. Went to see it with a whole bunch of his buddies at a drive-in. Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah, and apparently it terrified him. He said that he said, and I quote, "That movie scared the hell out of me, Don, and I don't want to see it ever again." And I'm just like, and I said, "Hey, Grandpa, if you think that one is scary, it is fairly tame compared to the remake that came out in 1982." And
yeah, I mean the 1982 remake, that's more graphic, if anything.
Oh yeah. So yeah, you think the original scary? Watch the remake. I consider that one of the best horror remakes, if not the best horror remake of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another film we got to go over one day on this podcast.
Yes.
One day.
I'm actually looking for something that I'm hoping to play before we end for tonight. It is something involving Halloween. Okay. So, but it's something I think it would be a great way to end this show tonight. So hopefully it's still up on YouTube. That's what I'm getting a little worried about. So
hopefully YouTube goes crazy with copyright. You know how that is.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and it's just, even though this is just for entertainment purposes only, that's what it's supposed to be. But how YouTube is.
Oh yeah. Oh, there. I had my daughter watch Killer Clowns, Don, and she loved it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I remember you. I think you said that on last week's show, Brad. Yeah. Glad to see that. She loved Killer Clowns. That's awesome.
Yeah, glad that that movie is finally giving it the love and recognition that I feel like it deserves. Yeah. So let's see. So what is this song you want to do a show?
Well, I realized something, and that is it was actually something involving Svengoolie with Halloween. And you know how he makes all those parody songs?
Mm-hmm.
I was looking for the one that he did for Halloween, which I thought would be a good way to. It's only a minute and a half song, but it's a good way to like make people laugh. And also, a lot of people, I know some people are familiar with them, but there's not that many. So I was going to say, why don't we introduce some of those who are unfamiliar to Svengoolie when he performed a parody song for that movie Halloween?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Jeremy said. Just send me a screenshot of his song. Share it. Okay.
Okay. Nice.
Give me 1 second here because I did log off. Well, I didn't log off, but I closed Facebook so we can see what he's talking about. But go ahead and continue talking, Don, while I'm getting this ready.
Oh yeah. So Halloween throughout the franchise, it had like obviously it had a lot of characters, some likable and some not very likable. But yeah, one of the least likable characters in the Halloween franchise was featured in the first film, and that was Bob.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Just because of this one comment that he made that I feel like did not age well and felt was completely inappropriate. So part of the story, part of the film is where Annie takes Lindsay, I think Lindsay was supposed to be 10 years old at the time, and it takes her over to have Lindsay be babysat by Lori along with Tommy, so that the teenagers can use the house for their little us time. And so Linda and her boyfriend Bob show up, and Linda says, "What's the plan?" He's like, "Okay, first I take your clothes off, and then we take Lindsay's clothes off." And I'm like,
"That's just messed up." even back in 1978, that would have not been appropriate.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, who talks like that? Really?
Yeah, really.
Tell us who, so we can call the cops right now.
Yeah. Really quickly, here's that image that Jeremy sent me. This is his song that he did.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, I'm just reading it right now. Let's see. Pure evil inside you. I like it. It definitely it chimes in with the film in a way.
It does. Nice.
That's awesome. If you recorded that, Jeremy, I'm going to want to hear that now. Now I'm curious.
Oh yeah, definitely, man.
Brad has a question for you.
Have you found out whether or not you're coming to Para Unity yet, Don? What day is that at?
That's Saturday, October 22nd.
22nd. I got a family event going on. My nephew is turning 2, and I want to be there for him.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry, Brad. Sorry, I can't make that one.
I see Lorianne Regatha I think she's watching. She just liked our video. If you don't know who that is, Don, she's the owner of Wildwood Sanitarium in New York. So good to see you, Lori.
All right.
Oh yeah. Oh wait. She'll give the lightsaber you want. You'll give that to me, and I'll give it to you.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. And Brad, you showed me all those pictures of the progress it had, the way it was going. I loved what I was seeing, so I can't wait to see the final result.
Yeah.
And speaking of Bob, one thing I want to mention, obviously you remember Michael putting him against the wall and then using a knife to just stab him, it held his body up there. I'm thinking, how is that possible? How is a single knife able to hold a grown adult male into a wall?
Yeah, that's impossible. There's no way that could happen. I mean, if it was like a really big knife, that would be one thing, but just having a small butcher knife basically implanted in your stomach, there's no way that could hold you up. You would need more than one.
I mean,
to hold you up like that.
I mean, sure, it made for an iconic shot during in the aftermath when Michael's just staring at him, looking like this.
Yeah,
really admiring his I'm guessing he's admiring his handiwork or something. But
I thought it was more curiosity than admiration.
Yeah, could be. But
You see the bow I'm making for my friend for her cosplay.
Yeah.
No, I was just reading the comments. I don't know why you stopped.
Oh yeah, and I was just thinking, yeah, like, well, wow, back to that comment that Bob made. I was thinking,
Yeah, I know, right?
yeah. Anyway, so yeah, like, and also the one of the biggest traits about Michael Myers is his invulnerability. How he can just take so many injuries that would kill any other human being. But like in this film, he has been stabbed in the like by Laurie in the neck with a needle, had his eye jet like, and then like stabbed with his knife, shot 6 times, and took a fall off a balcony, and gets off and runs and just takes off like nothing happened. And but there's a message in that. And the like my parents actually asked me when they saw this film with me, like there was like they saw the ending of the film with me. They didn't watch the whole film with me, but they saw Michael taking all these injuries and in the end just disappearing. And so they asked me why doesn't Michael ever die? And I said, well, that's because Michael was created to be the personification of pure evil. And as we all know, Brett, yeah, thank you.
Evil never dies.
Evil does not die.
Well, if you look at that ending scene, and if you remember, Adam told us about this about a couple years ago. He explained, and I actually can see it now, and I actually do like it even better. I like how Dr. Loomis looks down and he sees that the body is gone, but he is not surprised. Like he knew that shooting him was not going to do anything. It was only just going to stabilize and stun him for a few seconds. He knew he was going to get back up and walk away. So I definitely like how they made him look not surprised instead of like, where did he go? I shot him several times.
Yep. That's because Dr. Loomis knew exactly what Michael Myers was.
He predicted it.
Yep. In his words, he said, purely and simply evil.
And again, the gunshots, even though they were not blanks, he knew, like I said, he knew that he was just basically stunning him, if anything, for a few seconds just to get him out. So, and yes, we were talking about this earlier, Brad. Yeah, when they made Halloween 2, that was originally meant to be the last Halloween film to feature Michael Myers because they were going to turn the franchise originally into an anthology film, which is why, Halloween 3 didn't have them at all. They were going to play around with different subjects. So like, they weren't just going to focus originally. It wasn't just going to be slashers. They were going to have, probably ghosts, monsters. And obviously the third one was a mad scientist witchcraft type of film. So they were going to play along until, unfortunately Halloween 3 didn't do so well. And they had to bring Michael back.
Yes.
They did 2 takes of that. One was, oh my God, he's gone. The other was, I knew this was going to happen. That's how I figured. Yeah. And I'm glad they chose the latter of the 2.
Oh yeah. Is the end of this particular timeline.
Yeah.
I believe it. Yeah, like, because part of me wants to believe that this will probably be the end of Michael Myers, because like after this, I'm just wondering how much further could they possibly take this? But
it's too bad that they didn't wait. It's too bad that they didn't wait like, a couple more years, like till 2028, because that would be Halloween's 50th anniversary. But you know what? Who knows? I hate to say this, but who knows how many years Jamie Lee Curtis has, now that she's a lot older. So it's probably just best to do it now while you can.
Oh yeah.
Especially when you have the lead star from the original film still alive. Because otherwise, if they brought someone else completely, it's not going to make a lot of sense.
But
oops, sorry.
Michael Myers is coming after you with a walker.
A walker. Oh my God. Like I said, maybe he'll come. I don't know where they're gonna go with that.
I don't know either. I mean, there's not much further they can go. Like, you just gotta. What are they just gonna show Laurie trying to stop him again and failing each time again and again and again? Like,
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I really don't know. I mean, I just don't know how much further they can go.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, maybe they're transitioning her daughter to take over as the main field. Possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but But then everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, it's not the same as Jamie Lee Curtis." Yeah,
That's true. You're gonna have a lot of that criticism.
yeah. Oh, it's inevitable.
Yeah,
Criticism is always inevitable.
exactly. Oh, sorry. I saw another comment.
No, that's all good.
Damn it! You know what? I was looking for that song, and I hate to say it, but I think YouTube might have got. I think YouTube might have got rid of it.
That's what I figured they might have.
Oh man, come on! I mean, I'm still checking. I'm checking like the archives website, like just to see if it's there. But if I'm not seeing it on YouTube, then something tells me that even though it's supposed to be called Internet Archives, they probably don't have it either. So I'm making one last search for it.
Here, Nick.
A Day in Michael Myers' Life in 2028. A can of, what is that word? Metamucil? Metamucil. A dose of ginkgo bip and arthritis cream next butcher knife. What?
Oh, wait, let me take a look. Let me see what that is.
I was gonna say I don't know. I have no idea what Jeremy's talking about, but I don't even know if I really want to ask.
Let's see. Metamucil is used to treat constipation. Oh Jesus.
Oh my.
Oh Jesus.
And my mom's actually nearby. She just told me what it was.
Oh, yeah.
As Jeremy would say, I'm not touching that one.
Yeah. Ginkgo biloba. I don't even want to know.
I don't think I want to know what that is either.
No, forget it. I don't want to know. But yeah, Butcher Knife.
I might need an adult for that one. Okay. Jamie did die. Yeah, but that's true. But with the new one coming out, that ignores that film.
Yeah, might be.
Oh, it's a memory pill. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. As long as it's a memory pill, I'm fine with that. I was thinking something a little bit more. I was worried and thinking that it's got to be something more extreme.
Yeah, because after what he said about a constipation pill, I'm just like, if that's constipation, I don't want to know what this one does.
Yeah. Wait a minute, Don. I think I might have found. Okay, so I'll have this ready before we end for tonight. But I think I found the video that I was looking for. So, but we'll play it before we leave. Not now. Don't forget. Oh no!
Oh my god!
I'm not touching that one. I'm definitely not touching that one.
Seriously.
Okay.
So
that just kind of knocked me off guard, I have to admit.
Yeah, and I should mention in the end, like right after he was shot, and then they showed like the different right after Michael Myers was shot off the balcony. It shows like the different shots like around locations where the film took place, like the inside of the living room, the stairway, and the exterior of the houses, ending with the
I wasn't going to go there, Jeremy. Say, and then we'll go to Brad said next. Got to keep the knife out. I'm sorry. I had to bring that up. Go ahead.
So like I like at the ending where it shows where like after Michael is shot off the balcony, gets up and runs, or like leaves, he disappears, and where it shows like a shot of several locations, like a living room and the stairwells and the exterior of all the buildings, like of the houses where Michael Myers has killed at, and finally ending with the exterior of the Myers house, and all you hear is like the sound of Michael's breathing. Yep. Like it's an indication that he could be anywhere. That's what that was trying to tell us. Now that he's gone, the pure evil is anywhere.
Yeah, you don't know where to turn to, especially since the majority of the film takes place obviously at night, and he wears that mechanic clothing. So, the only warning you have is that ghostly white mask that he wears. But if you can't see him, you don't know where he is. He's blended. He basically has. The best way I could describe it's almost like with the way how he appears. It's like he has taken the darkness with the exception of his mask. It's like he has taken the darkness of the night and has worn it like a skin, if you will.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Yeah.
Doing a fit testing on my daughter's costume this week. I'll make sure to send you. Yeah, send it to us, Brad. We'd love to see it. Halloween 20 thumbs up.
Oh man, which Halloween though? The this Halloween, the Rob Zombie Halloween, or the 2018 Halloween?
I think
Yeah.
he's talking about the original.
Okay, yeah, because they keep naming them Halloween. It gets confusing.
Now, I know a lot of people aren't too crazy about the 2006. When he isn't chasing you, he's at the pharmacy getting his pills. Oh, yeah. See, if I say Halloween, it'll always be. See, I was right. I knew it was the original. Now, I got to just say, I know a lot of people aren't too crazy about the remake, the 2007 remake, although there's a lot of people who say they like it too. Actually, I remember my dad being one of them. He really liked the remake. And I know a lot. Not too many people are crazy about it, but it does give I've always been told it does give a little bit more backstory on Michael Myers' character. Like, I think from his childhood and from the time that he's locked up before he escapes. That's what I was told. I haven't seen it, but that's what I was told about it.
Well, that's my problem with the remake. I feel like it completely destroys the whole mystique of Michael Myers by giving him a backstory, trying to look into his psyche, making him seem like a more of a human being, just a messed up human being. When Michael Myers was originally created, he was meant to be a personification of evil itself. It has no humanity to him. And so by making him human, they completely destroy everything mysterious about him, which made him more of a terrifying villain.
Right. Jeremy just said 2007 was okay. I like the prequel part, but not the humanizing part. Plus, the vulgarity and the excessive gore was just one big turnoff. And that's true, yeah, because like you look at the original one, it wasn't gory. You barely see a drop of blood in the original Halloween.
That's true.
H2O was the worst.
No. Halloween 2 remake.
Oh, Halloween 2. I thought you meant Halloween H2O. No, yes. Halloween 2 I heard was even worse.
I was about to say there's no O right there.
Yeah, I thought he forgot to put the O in. That's what I thought.
Oh.
Because that's how it's usually said, H2O.
Oh, I see. But yeah, Halloween 2 remake, yeah, no, that was no. Nope. But interestingly enough, they did have Danielle Harris
was his favorite.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Like, yeah, H2O I consider like that was one of the more decent as far as Halloween reboots or sequels and whatnot. But
right,
yeah. What I was saying in the remake of Halloween, it was interesting that they have Danielle Harris in it playing Annie Brackett when she was originally in the series in Halloween 4 and 5 playing Jamie Lloyd.
That's right. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Michael Myers put the O into oh shit. Wow.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's why the O was not there when Jeremy said that.
It could be. Oh man, but yeah, and seeing this movie is probably another reason why I don't babysit, because apparently babysitters get killed.
Yeah, but they know how to fight, though. Let's be honest here. They know how to fight for survival, even if they've never been in a fight like this. Jeremy says in his review, Halloween 1978, Halloween 2, H2O, 2018, and Kills were the best of the whole franchise. But how does he know about Kills, though? Because Kills hasn't come out yet.
Yes, it did. Halloween Kills.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I haven't watched a lot of television for the last couple of days, so I haven't been able to I've been putting my presentation together.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know Halloween Kills, from the last year.
Oh, from last year. Oh, my God. Yeah, I know. Yep. What am I saying?
Yeah. And
it's been a long day.
Yeah. And I should mention, though, there actually, about 10 years ago, there actually was a PC game that you could download.
I heard about that.
It was like a flash game, or no, not a flash game. It was like one of those. It looked like a '90s kind of style animated game. It was originally called Halloween. Like, it was based on, the Halloween film, Michael Myers and everything. But when it was found out, it fell under copyright. They threatened to sue the guy that made it. So he changed it around and called the game Babysitter Bloodbath. And and changed the killer into a a clown masked killer named Nicholas Burr.
Wow. Why does that name sound familiar?
Yeah, Burr sounds familiar. I think it was the last name of the actor who played
Raymond Burr.
who played the killer in Rear Window.
Yep, I got a feeling. And let's not forget too, also, because anytime I think of Raymond Burr, I also think of him also in the show Perry Mason, and then also, of course, Godzilla.
Yep.
Jeremy, just a reminder, Don, I think Greg is doing his show. He hasn't canceled as far as he knows. So we only got a couple minutes left.
We only got 7 minutes left.
Bill Burr. That's what Brad's also thinking too.
Bill Burr.
Yeah. Okay. So before we go, do you mind if I show that clip? It's only about 2 minutes. It's one of. Let's introduce Svengoolie with Halloween to everybody for those who aren't familiar with, and also really quickly for you guys, just so you know, in case you guys, for those who are watching, if you guys don't know who Svengoolie is, I know I've described a couple to you what he is. He is a horror host here in Chicago that has been doing this now for like almost 40 years now, Don?
Yeah.
Since the 1980s.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, it's definitely another story. It's going to have to save for another night, but he's been doing this for 40 years. And originally his show was only focused on here in Chicago, but over 10 years ago, he's finally expanded. So now people know who he is nationwide. So hopefully some of you guys are familiar with him. And during these years, he also would do, when he would often usually put facts up about these movies, the actors, but also on another thing that he always did is he would always make parody songs of classic songs that we're familiar with. So I'm going to play this. It's going to show a few clips. Shouldn't be too bad of copyright. This was actually originally, get this, Don. This actually originally broadcasted from 1997. Oh. So the same year that Halloween H2O came out, and pretty much right around Halloween's 20th anniversary.
No, Halloween H2O came out in 1998.
Oh, I thought it was 97.
No,
I kept thinking it was 97.
Nope.
Okay, so then it was a year before it. So either way, they were basically broadcasting this for Halloween's 20th anniversary, even though they were a year short. It's only a 2-minute clip, so I'm going to show the clip, and hopefully it's also funny too. And yes, thank you, Jeremy. I was going to save that for after the song. And also for Supernatural Talk, we have Don himself coming on as a guest. So, Don, it's going to be a little bit hard for me to ask questions because I know so much about you. So, but either way, it's going to be a good show. And Brad, yes, we noticed we didn't see Jill tonight.
Yeah, I didn't see Jill.
So, either she's just really busy, or maybe she has been listening. But you know her; she always cooks a lot. and also, Brad, let us know, because you said that you were interested in coming on to kind of guest host with us. Let me know if you still want to come on. So depending on your work schedule. Anyways, we only got a few minutes left. Let me get the link up, and hopefully you guys will enjoy this. It's gonna be fun.
We only got 5 minutes.
Yeah, I only need 2 or 3 minutes, and that's it.
Okay.
So hopefully you guys enjoy this. Can you see it, Don?
Yeah, I see it, man.
All right, so let's introduce everybody to those who aren't familiar with Svengoolie with Halloween. Oh shoot! Wait a minute.
It's buffering.
Yeah, I hate when it does this. Give it a second. Here we go. Okay, I went a few seconds over, but
okay, we can't show much of the movie on here though.
Yeah, I know. I had to go back because of the buffering issue. Okay.
Don't use the phone for fun and games anymore.
You're just calling the Psycho Friends Network. I don't want a trick. I want to use Halloween to slay. I don't want a treat. I just want to use Halloween to slay. Yeah, why not? Ever since I was a little kid and saw her boyfriend insist do what they did. I was upset that she was a tart, so I picked up a knife, stuck it in my sister's heart. I don't trick or treat. I want to use Halloween to slay. Yes, I do. I don't hit the street. I just want to use Halloween to slay. Now. Ever since I left the prison yard, I'm being chased by a guy with hair like the cloud. The stinking mask makes it hard to see, but I keep moving on because I'm after Jamie Lee. I don't trick or treat. I want to use Halloween sleigh. I'm in the backseat. I just want to use Halloween to slay. I've got a reason for the things I do. I think the first reason is I hate Scooby-Doo. But the main reason that I do this crime is because I'm sick of the morons who think that I'm a mime. I don't trick or treat. I want to use Halloween to slay. I don't give a shit. I just want to use Halloween to slay. Yes, but does he slice, dice, and mince? Boys. And can he make julienne fries?
You don't know?
No.
My life is ruined!
Oh, shut up, Julienne. I don't trick or treat. I just want to use Halloween to slay. Why not? I don't give a shit. I just want to use Halloween to slay.
Oh man,
That's awesome, right? Just classic Svengoolie right there. I love that version of how he does. They make those parodies. Obviously, you can clearly tell that was bang on the drum that they parodied. And when I saw, seriously, when I was searching through trying to look for that, I'm like, it's right here. I got to show this. Let's see. You should play Careless Sister from YouTube. You ever heard of that, Don?
don't think so. And we definitely don't have enough time now because
we don't. That's going to have to wait another time. Mr. Nice Guy, obviously, like that. Pretty funny stuff, though, right?
Oh yeah.
So,
oh man, Svengoolie, what a legend.
Yeah, honestly, even showing a clip like that, even if there was some copyright, you know what? At least we got to spread the message and got to spread to those who are unfamiliar who Svengoolie is. So regardless of copyright issues, we did it. We did something. We spread his name. Mr. Nice Guy, you have a great night.
Oh
and
yeah,
Jeremy, I'll look at this link right after we get off here.
yeah. Have a good night, Mr. Nice Guy.
Oh, also, too, one final announcement just before we go off. I know I made the announcement earlier today. In addition to Supernatural talk, I'll make this really, really fast. This upcoming Saturday, as some of you guys know, I have a very special. I'm going to have a 1-hour special of Nick Files at 1 o'clock Central Time, because for the first time ever, I'm actually going to be broadcasting. You could basically say in front of a live audience at the Chicago Paranormal Convention. I will be presenting one of my presentations, which I'll be talking about creepypasta legends. I'll be honest, I'm nervous as hell. I really am. I'm still getting anxiety from it. I know a lot of people said I'll do fine, but either way, it's, they always say it's easier said than done.
Hey.
So we got that coming. We got that coming up. It will be again at 1 o'clock Central Time. And also, I will be on Grizzly Bigfoot tomorrow night with Christopher. That Jeremy was on it a couple weeks ago as a guest prior to his surgery, and he actually recommended me to be a guest on his show, on Christopher's show as well. It's not a show that's on this network, but I will be a guest on that show tomorrow. I think that'll be at 7:30 tomorrow night. I could be wrong. Either way, I'll post the link sometime either later tonight or tomorrow afternoon. And I know, thanks, Jerry.
I was about to say, you got this, Nick.
Yeah, I'm the very first speaker for this event. So honestly, yes, it partially is kind of dodging the crowds a little bit, but at the same time, though, it's always best sometimes just to just get it out of the way so you don't have to worry about it throughout the course. And I'll even have my own vendor table. So and me talking about creepypasta legends, it actually will have somewhat in association with my scary stories, because I've always been told. I recently read in one of the more recent tribute books, they say that if not for scary stories to tell in the scary stories to tell in the dark books, we wouldn't have creepypasta. Or even if we did, they sure as hell would not be as popular as they are today. So without those books, I don't know where we would be with creepypasta, but it's going to be a great show. I'm looking forward to it. Again, I'm nervous, but I can't wait. And it'll be broadcast on all these, not just the Things Network, but 5 other networks as well. So, but anyways, that's all I have to say. So Don, you'll be back basically with me on Thursday. So,
oh yeah, I can't wait to go back on.
Yeah, now you'll be able to meet some of the other members of the crew. So it'll be a fun show.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. All right, so Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Be sure to join us on Thursday. And what time, Nick?
That's going to be at 7:00 Central Time. And the reason why I'm saying Central Time is because, not everybody lives around here. So, yeah, it'll be 7:00 our time.
7:00 Supernatural Talk. Yes.
So that actually rhymes. 7:00 Supernatural Talk. Jeremy, we may have to come up with something now for that.
Glad I can contribute.
Good thing, John, you're a genius. You just came up with a rhyme for us.
I try. Yeah, so everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to tune in at 7:00 on Thursday for Supernatural Talk, and be sure to tune in next Tuesday, same time at 8:30 p.m. for another episode of FearFans Podcast. Thank you.
Also, tune in also for Grizzly Bigfoot tomorrow night for my guest appearance, and also you're able to tune in at this upcoming Saturday at 1:00 Central Time. If you're able to tune in for just an hour, as always, I really appreciate it. I really would appreciate the support.
Oh yes. So
Greg hasn't come on yet, so that's good. We're not holding him up. So yeah, we're about to get off though.
All right. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your night. See you.
Have a good night.